All right, we're back. It's Poe. I appreciate everybody that shows up to the show every day. I appreciate y'all. Even if y'all take time out to listen to the show, appreciate y'all. Shout out to my co-hosts, AJ Pax and Leafy, when they have time. But this is our podcast. It's not Poe's. It's ours. The whole community. I'm a community person. Even though a lot of people like to talk slick about me, but I'm a community person. All right. Let me see what the YouTube doing. Y'all gonna see me keep dipping off of the screen because I'm eating. Let me see. Let me let a couple y'all get in here. I'm gonna let them know we're live. I'm gonna let Twitter know we're live. Yeah, let me see. Give me a second, y'all. Nobody yet. There's something. Something that I want to talk about. It's weird in the Undisputed Discord, and I know Steel City get a kick out of it, but it's not going to break me. And you got people in the Discord that love to find a way to attack me. It's like I tell the people that I don't like the game, and they automatically attack me. Like they're getting paid by Steel City. So it kind of make me think it's developers posing as people in the disc. I mean, as people in the Discord. Because I'm like, yo, why are you attacking me? That's weird. That's weird energy. Like you getting paid. I want this game to get better. I want to be able to play it. And for any of y'all ignorant people keep saying, Well, you're a grown man. You shouldn't be playing video games. We were brought up on video game. My parents and their parents were not brought up on video games, idiots. What's up, Lamont Davis? Appreciate you popping through. Trying to eat my dinner before I like really get into the show. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you was here yesterday because I was talking about. I was trying to remember a name of one of my stablemates, and it was funny that I didn't remember him. As soon as the show was off, I remember his name. His name was Howard Davis. He was an Olympian. Now, all that when he was Olympian, like what year and all that, I don't keep up with stuff like that. But he was an Olympian. He just was one of them Olympians that wasn't successful. He had a great name. He fought a couple of people, but he wasn't always successful. I forget what was his record, but he was a stable man of mine. Yeah, I used to have fun with him. He's like if you're a boxing fan, you know everybody know who Howard Davis is. Yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago. Good friend. He friended me immediately. Yeah, good friend, good person. I wouldn't say we were friends, but for our stable mates and stuff like that, yeah, we're friends. Um, who else? Amamu Mayfield. If y'all look up his record, we fought in the amateurs, and he won the title. He didn't go that far. He had good. He could have had a good promoter, my manager. So yeah, I've been around. I stayed around people that had good backing behind them. The manager didn't back me, and that was my fault. That was my fault because I shouldn't have never signed to someone that I had a long rivalry with his boxer. That was like, why would you sign with somebody that y'all had an amateur rivalry? I let him do the Don King on me. He was a good talker. And that's crazy. Let me see. Trying to wait for at least one more person to get in, Lamont Davis. Then I'm gonna start the show. Appreciate you popping in. You here early. Let me see what the. Yeah, Leafy was talking to me in the in the DMs on the Discord. I didn't watch the video, but he was talking about how the modders they fixed the game to look like it did when everybody was praising it. And I was like, wow. So that means still city developers were being lazy. Because if they were able to fix it like it was in the beginning when we first had it and liked it, that means the developers are lazy. It makes no sense. But I knew that. Breathing control. AJ Packs, man, you gonna really make the developer say, "See, y'all want too much. Y'all want like over the top. You want to be able to control how many times he blink and everything." That was like my main thing with people in the EA forums. When you ask for realism, they did this on purpose. When you ask for realism, they ask for something extreme. Like you should be able to control your sweat levels. You should, you should make the God give you enough water so you don't over dehydrate and stuff. I'm like, yo, man, y'all asking for too much. That's like over the top real. No, nobody want to have all that much control. They was doing that on purpose. You ask for the extreme, the developers to say, hey, y'all asking for too much realism and we can't do it. And they're going to say that. And that's what people be playing mind games. What's called just sent AJ Packs just sent me something about Fire Pro Wrestling, and they got breathing control. I don't want all that in no boxing game. That's a string. To me, that's a string. Somebody like me, if I'm saying that's a stream, that's a stream. They already don't want to make what we asking for. So you add stuff like that, they're gonna really not add stuff. And I'm thinking when we get Undisputed 2, we're gonna get basically almost the same thing, because they really got the mindset that a realistic boxing game is not fun. Which, hey, if it's not fun to you, let it be an option. I'm gonna keep saying that every show. Options. We need options. If it's not something that's not fun to you, well, let the people that is fun to be fun to it. Everything is not fun for everybody. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep saying that. Everything is not the same fun for everyone, but you're trying to force it on somebody. We have the last couple of days the last week we've been having a big influx of people watching this show. So that like really lets me know that we got people that's monitoring and watching the show. And my thing is, Steel City, give us a survey. If you don't give us a survey, that means y'all already made up your mind what y'all gonna do, and we're gonna get something similar to what we got now. Because if you have a survey, you know what the fans want. All that nonsense. Even if y'all don't put a survey out now, because I keep bringing it up, even if y'all don't make a survey, and then y'all say, well, we didn't know what fans wanted, I put that out there. So y'all can't go back and say, hey, we didn't know, because I put it out there for y'all to put out a survey so y'all can know what fans want. So that means y'all intentionally didn't want to listen to the fans. And it puzzles me why fans are the ones that keep saying it's not going to work. A survey is not going to work. A survey keeps a company accountable. They have to put out a survey. It's enough of us ask for it. But everybody's so divided. It's all right it's okay for us to be divided, because we all like different things, but we should come together for one thing. That's the survey and other things. There's things that we could come to a common ground. We all could come together with, but everybody want to be in control of something. Even if some people feel like, long as I got to control, even if it's going to disrupt what that person wants. And that's crazy. How are you benefiting? because you making another person angry or don't want to play the game, what's going to happen is the whole game is not going to sell. You're not going to draw more people into the foot to play the game. So y'all don't think, y'all think like, and I hate to say it, like y'all got qualities of someone that's soft. I'm gonna put it that way. Qualities of someone that's real soft. That I don't know why I froze. I didn't do anything to make the camera freeze. Let me see. Yeah, it makes no sense. People, they rather cut their arm off than to let everybody get what they want. They rather cut their arm off instead of letting everybody get what they want. It's like people that act like, yeah, Poe, I understand what you're saying and this and that. But their thing is they align themselves up with me so they can piggyback off of me, and they don't really like what I'm doing. My thing is, say you don't like what I'm pushing. So I could be like, all right, well, we could push what we both want together instead of saying you're gonna team up with me just to push your narrative. Your narrative and my narratives are totally different. Me, I'm more of a community person. I want all of us to get what we want, not just what I want, and everybody know what I want. I want a realistic boxing game. I guess I'm gonna start reading the script. Let me say this clearly. Boxing video games don't fail because boxing is too hard to simulate. They don't fail because technology isn't there. They don't even fail because fans are impossible to please. They fail because of priorities. And tonight, I want to talk about the quiet part nobody in the industry want to admit. Boxing games are often built around what is easiest to ship, not what is most important to the sport. The real question nobody asks. Every time a boxing game struggles, the conversation always starts in the same place: controls, punch tracking, animations, balance. But nobody asks the real questions first. What did the studio decide matters most? Because priorities decide everything. If visuals come before identity, you get pretty boxers who all feel the same. If online comes before authenticity, you get mechanics tuned for exploits instead of boxing logic. If marketing moments come before systems, you get surface level features with no depth underneath. Boxing isn't just a sport, it's a system of systems. And when a studio doesn't prioritize understanding that, everything downstream suffers. Why good enough is a death sentence for boxing games. Other sports can survive good enough. Basketball can survive canned animations. Football can survive rating inflations. Soccer can survive scripted moments. Boxing can't, because boxing is intimate. Every flaw is visible. Every shortcut shows up in movement, posture, rhythm, and decision making. When the studios say this is good enough for launch, what they're really saying is this is good enough for people who won't notice. But boxing fans notice everything. They notice when stamina doesn't change behavior. They notice when foot placement doesn't matter. They notice when damage looks dramatic but has no tactical consequences. Good enough doesn't feel neutral in boxing, it feels disrespectful. The priority inversion problem. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Many boxing games are built with presentation priorities above boxing priorities. Licensed boxers before believable boxers, flashy knockdowns before meaningful rounds, marketing trailers before long-term systems. That's an inversion. In real boxing, fundamentals come first. Balance, timing, positioning, decision making. But in many games, those are treated as optional polish instead of core pillars. And when fundamentals are optional, realism becomes accidental instead of intentional. See, the thing, people, this what a lot of people say, like casual fans or people that just don't know. They always say, timing, positioning, and decision making is hard to implement into a boxing video game. That's a lie. That's 100% a lie. Like I keep saying every time in every show, anything you see in real life can be put in a video game. Anything you see in real life can be put in a video game. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. What's up, AJ Pax? Wasn't me either. Laughing out loud. Ghostface Gorilla, what's up? Salute. Appreciate you popping in. Let me see. Hit the like button. To all the people that's ghost watching, hit the like button, please. Give me a second. I forgot to put my question up for today. I mean, my poll. Give me a second. Time. Give me a second. Let me see. Give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. I had to put a poll up. Why fans argue so much about boxing games? This is important. Boxing games communities aren't toxic because they are entitled. They're divided because the game doesn't clearly state what it values. Is it a sim? Is it competitive? Is it cinematic? Is it casual? When priorities are unclear, everyone argues about a different expectation. And all of these can be added into a game. It's just that here's go the excuses they're gonna put out there. I heard it every year for decades. They're gonna say it takes too long to balance. It takes too long to get the right people to test it. Nah, stop that. We had too many games and too many sports games, not boxing, sports games in general, that all of these different things can be tested. But their thing is, their testing is not extensive testing. Steel City, I'm talking about. Their testing is not extensive. It's like real quick. They don't let you try to break the game. So you're going to get a broken game. Most people, when they test something, they test it to break it, to try to find as many things as possible that can be broken or tested to see through the boxes. See, the breaking, the testing to define the bugs and all that, that's a different kind of testing. You got to have boxers and historians to test the game first so they could see what looks and reacts like boxing. Then you bring the other people in to break the game and see what makes the game break. But these companies, they automatically say, well, that's what broke the game, because you ain't really tested right. I know what I'm talking about too. Let me see. One fan wants rhythm, another wants responsiveness, another wants spectacle. And instead of the game grounding those expectations, it floats in the middle, satisfying none fully. Clear priorities would solve half the discord overnight. The missing opportunity no one talks about. Here's the wild part. Boxing games don't need to chase other genres to grow their audience. They need to teach people how to box, how boxing works through play. A great boxing game can turn casual players into hardcore fans, not by tutorials, but by making fundamentals matter. When footwork changes outcomes, players learn footwork. When patience wins rounds, players learn patience. When when style clashes create problems, players learn styles. That's not just boxing game design, that's stewards of the sport. That's stewardship of the sport. And that's the opportunity. And that opportunity keeps getting left on the table. Yeah. Axe was talking like that in the beginning. He was talking about a boxing game can teach a player this or that. Axe was talking like that. All of that disappeared. All of that disappeared. And that's crazy. I'm not putting words in Axe's mouth either. A lot of people are like, man, you always talking about Axe like they really talk. We talked. We talked. I remember everything Axe said. The industry has the tool, not the will. The industry has the tool, not the will. And I'm not talking about Will Kinsler. This isn't about compatibility anymore. Studios has motion capture, AI systems, data pipelines, behavior trees, physics engines, analytics. What's missing isn't tech, it's convenient. conviction. All right. Conviction to say this game will live or die by boxing logic, not convenience. This game will live or die by boxing logic, not convenience. Conviction to accept that not every player will master it immediately. Conviction to design depth first and accessibility second. That's what I was saying. We should have the hardcore first, and then accessibility or the casual modes second. That's an option. Boxing games reward commitment. So should boxing rewards commitment. So should boxing games. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. How's it going, Joe Pro? Appreciate you popping in. I ain't seen you in a minute. Gameplay above all. No lag, good input, realistic punch mechanics, stamina, and strategy a must. The sweet science, not rock'em sock'em robots. Facts, exactly. Rock'em sock'em shots don't even land on Undisputed. That's funny. That's funny, Mike Adams. What's up, Mike Adams? Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, what Joe Pro said, that's exactly. I've been preaching that, I think, since I had this show. Boxing video games don't need saving. They need direction. They need developers who understand that boxing is not just punches and health bars. It's decision making under pressure. It's identity pressed through movement. It's consequences over flash. Until priorities change, we will keep having the same arguments, the same disappointments, and the same excuses. And boxing deserves better than that. Let's see. Give me a second. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I watched the Undisputed training video. My life is complete now. Oh man, I didn't watch it. It ain't nothing that it's like too late now. It's too late. It's too late to put something on like that. They literally putting the tutorial to something that's broken. What are you teaching somebody in a broken game? They're being deceptive. The game is broken. You making a video that's showing people how to play the game, and then when they play the game that is broken, to me, they should be able to get sued. No, I hate to bring that up, but if you're being deceptive by teaching you bringing out a video that you should have brought out in the beginning, and now you bringing it out to be deceptive to a new group of players. That's crazy. Let me see. Let me see what question. The question. All right. Here goes some deep dive points. Boxing games rarely model intent, only input. Most boxing games read what button was pressed, not why it was pressed. In real boxing, intent matters more than action. A jab can be a probe, a distraction, a rangefinder, or a setup for something 3 steps later. That's chess. That's chess. And that's what Ash used to talk about. He wanted ESBC to be like chess. You could bank what you did in the beginning, and it adds up at the end. You can make all these do these different things that you benefit from it later, depending on your the person you're boxing, because somebody might be too strong for you. That's what I be saying when people be saying, "Why isn't he standing in front of him? He keep moving around too much." He a big idiot. To a person that don't punch would be an idiot to stay in front of somebody that can punch. That shows that the person that the people that saying that, they will make a horrible fight. A horrible trainer. They're the person that if I had I do have a son, but if my son went to your gym and you told my son to stand in front of somebody and just keep trading with them, don't move away, just trade with them, and something happened to my son, you better live in that gym and you better have security, because y'all don't care about anybody. Y'all don't benefit. So y'all don't care if somebody stand in front of a puncher. Y'all the kind of person that y'all want Paul Malignaggi to stand in front of Tyson and trade with him. That's how ignorant the fan base is, because the boxing game is not teaching them what boxing is. All right, boxing rarely models intent, only output. Games usually treat all jabs as the same event without different windows. A deep boxing game should understand, was the punch meant to score? Was it meant to freeze the opponent? Was it meant to draw a counter? Was it thrown out of panic? Without intent modeling, boxers feel mechanical instead of thoughtful. All of this stuff can be added in a real boxing game. And here go the people that say, well, if it could be put in a boxing game, they would have did it. They don't have the mind for boxing mind to add this stuff. All of this can be added in the boxing game, 100%. I'm not just saying it. But you're going to always have them naysayers say, Paul, you think you know everything. No, Steel City didn't add a lot of things. Fight Night, EA didn't add a lot of things because they didn't want to. These are things that can be done in the industry. It ain't because it can't be done. It's because they don't want to. Y'all be giving them too many escape routes. Boxing games ignore negative space. Most systems only care about contact. Real boxing is defined by what doesn't happen. Punches not thrown. Openings not taken. Fence that stop action. Pauses that reset tempo. Negative space is where the ring IQ lives. When a game doesn't reward restraint, patience becomes impossible to simulate. This is why many matches feel frantic instead of tense. Momentum is treated as cosmetic, not strategy. It changes risk tolerance, punch selection, defensive habits, willingness to engage. Most games represent momentum as a meter, a damage boost, a temporary animation state. But momentum should subtly alter decision trees, not stats. A boxer on a road doesn't fight harder, they fight smarter or bolder. Boxing games don't simulate being read. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. As if the casuals on PlayStation Plus will follow any of that. I'm fighting noobs who lean back or power punch spamming. People have picked up bad habits attempting exploits. Them the same exploits from Fight Night Champion. That's what I'll be saying. They brought the exploit from Fight Night Champion over to Undisputed. Those are all Fight Night Champion exploits. The same complaints that people were saying in Fight Night Champion. Boxing games don't simulate being read. One of the most dangerous moments in boxing is when your opponent figures you out. Games rarely punish predictability beyond stamina loss. In real boxing, repeated patterns get timed. Habits get exploited. Comfort becomes a liability. A deep system would track tendencies during a fight and adjust opponents. Give me a second, y'all. Yes.
Barbara.
Yes.
She's coming tomorrow. The one for the insurance. She's coming tomorrow to see look mommy over. So she'll be there. She said she'll be there at 10 o'clock, but I'll be there before she comes.
Okay.
Okay, so I should be there about like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
All right.
All right, brother. All right.
All right. A deep system will track tendencies during a fight and adjust opponents' behavior dynamically, forcing adaptation mid-rounds. Damage is shown but not understood. Swelling, cuts, and animations are often visual only. In reality, damage creates decisions, stress. A compromised eye changes angles. A hurt body changes foot placement. A shaken chin changes risk tolerance. Damage should influence choices, not just survivability. When damage does alter behavior, it becomes when damage doesn't alter behavior, it becomes decoration. Boxing games don't respect rounds as stories. Rounds aren't just time blocks, they're chapters. A real round has a real feeling about phase. A real round has a filling out phase, a shift, a reaction, an adjustment. Most games treat every second equally. A better approach would allow rounds to develop identities that affect judging, commentary logic, and corner advice without scripted outcomes. And this is another thing I want to tell people. All that repeat commentary y'all heard Ty Grisham say, they got technology for the commentators that there's no repeat commentary. So they can use that too. They could go so far as with the way technology is set up, is have old commentators that we're used to commentate. They could get their voice and they add words with their voice and they could do commentary. Imagine having a Howard Cosell commentate your fight. That jump will be crazy. It will be crazy to the boxing fans. With Fight Night, it was harder to move around. Yeah. It was. But that thing is, like I tell people, Undisputed is trying to model the game. It's almost modeled after Fight Night, but it's not modeled after Fight Night. Because Fight Night is a complete game. Undisputed is a broken, halfway finished game. And it's like they get to get that. It's no consequences for that. There's no consequence for them giving us a half complete game. Let me see. All right. Q&A. Why do boxing games feel exhausting instead of mentally engaging? Answer, because they emphasize constant action over constant thinking. Real boxing is mentally draining because every second involves evaluation. Games usually remove that layer to keep things exciting, but that's exactly what drains authenticity. Why don't boxing games encourage different pacing styles naturally? Because pacing is often tied to stamina alone. In reality, pacing is tied to confidence, reads, and situational awareness. When pacing is just a resource mechanic, styles collapse into the same rhythm. Why does footwork feel disconnected from strategy in most boxing games? Why does footwork feel disconnected from strategy in most boxing games? Because footwork is treated as movement, not positioning. Movement is about location. Positioning is about advantage. Games usually track where you are, not why that spot matters. Games usually track where you are, not why that spot matters. Steel City, they was talking like that in the beginning. They was talking about how the foot movement, how you could move, and everything mattered with the foot movement. But then they went away from that. And that's crazy. Nobody talks about it. They act like these wasn't conversations that was talked about. Why do corner breaks feel meaningless in many games? Why do corner breaks feel meaningless in many boxing games? Because they reset stats instead of reframing strategy. A real corner doesn't just heal you, it recalibrates risk, focus, and priorities. When the corner isn't informational, it becomes filler. And that's the thing. I know to the people that play online and they go back to their corner, the AI should be telling you different things. That makes immersion. A lot of people always be saying, Paul, you want too much. Man, we're in the modern era. Yes, I want too much. I want too much. It ain't like you giving them less money. You're not giving them less money. They're not making the game cheaper. So yeah, I'm gonna ask for a lot. Yeah, a lot of people gonna ask for a lot. We're in the era. If you don't ask for a lot, we will get the bare minimum. We will get two M's boxing each other if it was up to a lot of these developers. Why do boxing games struggle to make boxers feel intelligent without cheating AI? Because intelligence is often faked with reaction speed or input reading. Real intelligence is anticipation, pattern recognition, and restraint. Speed is not intelligence, patience is. Why do comebacks feel scripted instead of earned? This is AJ Pack's favorite question because they're usually tied to boosts instead of shifts in behavior. Real comebacks haven't Real comebacks happen when a boxer changes how they fight, not when they get stronger. Without behavioral change, comebacks feel artificial. What's the biggest unseen flaw in boxing games today? The lack of systems that punish comfort. If a player can settle into one approach and never be challenged, the game will always feel shallow, no matter how good it looks. Give me a second. Give me a second. What's up, JMMA? Appreciate you popping in. Appreciate you popping in yesterday, too. All right. Why do most boxing games fail to make winning feel different from surviving? Because they measure success almost entirely through damage and knockdowns. In real boxing, surviving a dangerous round can be a victory, and dominating a round without hurting your opponent can still be decisive. When a game doesn't distinguish between control and survival, both feel hollow. Why do why does defensive mastery rarely feel rewarding in boxing games? I always say this. Because defense is usually framed as avoidance, not creation. Because defense is usually framed as avoidance, not creation. In real boxing, defense create opportunities. A slip isn't just safety, it's positioning for a counter. If defense doesn't lead to advantage, players stop valuing it. Why do many boxing games make pressure fighting feel identical across boxers? Because pressure is often coded as forward movement plus volume. Real pressure is psychological. It's about cutting options, shrinking space, and forcing choices. Without modeling decision restrictions, without modeling decision restriction, pressure becomes generic aggression. Why do boxing games struggle to represent fighting tired? That's something I talk about too. Fighting tired. Why do boxing games struggle to represent fighting tired? Because fatigue is usually a penalty, not a state. Fatigue is a penalty. I remember with older games, that emulate being tired. They emulated it real good. It looked just so good. I'm like, oh, sweat. But we're in the modern era and people can't emulate someone that's tired. They really can't emulate them. No, it's not that they can't emulate. They're too lazy to emulate or make it seem like they're tired physically. You can see it on their body. You can see it on their face, their movement, everything. Why do boxing games struggle to represent tired? Because fatigue is usually a penalty, not a state. Tired boxers don't just slow down, they simplify. They throw fewer types of punches, rely on habits, and avoid complexity. When fatigue doesn't narrow options, when fatigue doesn't narrow options, it doesn't feel authentic. Why do counterpunchers often feel overpowered or useless with no middle ground? Because counters are often triggered by timing windows instead of situational context. Real counters depend on balance, anticipation, and positioning, not reflex alone. Without context, counters systems swing widely. Without context, Without context, counters systems swing wildly between extremes. Why don't boxing games teach players how to lose well? Because losing is treated as failure instead of information. Because losing is treated as failure instead of information. In real boxing, a loss reveals weaknesses and creates evolution. Games rarely surface that inform meaningfulness, so players learn nothing from defeat. Why does variety disappear after the first few hours of play? Because systems don't deepen over times. Once players solve the dominant strategies, nothing forces adaptation. Boxing should feel deeper at 50 hours than a 5, not flatter. Boxing should feel deeper at 50 hours than at 5, not flatter. Why do knockdowns feel dramatic but not strategic? Why do knockdowns feel dramatic, not strategic? Because they're treated as events instead of turning points. A real knockdown changes pacing, confidence, and risk tolerance. If the fight resumes exactly the same, the knockdown was just a cutscene. If the fight resumes exactly the same, the knockdown was just a cutscene. Exactly. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Salute Bacon's Jr. algorithm. Do you think they are putting Undisputed on PS Plus because they are making Undisputed too? I know. I think they putting it on putting Undisputed on PS Plus because they want to get more fans in and more people to make it look good for the developers. Not for the developers, for the investors, the shareholders, and the publishers. Because they could be like, hey, see, look. They're going to show them some bogus numbers. Like, hey, look how many people, look, the numbers going back up. And the numbers not really going up because nobody's buying it on PlayStation. You got PlayStation Plus. It's free. The game will be free. But they will use that as numbers to show the investors and publishers. Are they working on Undisputed 2? Yes. Yes, Paul. There's just be a separation of Stamina Bar versus Brit, man. You go with the AJ Pax. You keep saying that's gonna go left real fast. And I'm for as much realism as possible. That Stamina Bar, and I don't like stamina. I mean, I don't like the bars at all. But you keep asking for. If we ask for a lot of things, it's not going to get in there. Like Stamina Bar, and people gonna be saying, "Hey, since you're putting a breathing bar in there, you might as well put a sweat bar in there. You put a hydration. Hey, he need hydration. You got to drink this amount of water and stuff like that." I literally heard somebody say that we should have some type of hydration thing. If you get hydrated, y'all asking for too much that's going to scare the developers into using an excuse. It's going to get them an excuse. We ask for too much stuff, it's going to get them an excuse. Say, hey, y'all ask for too much stuff, especially when you got these people that don't want to give you anything anyway, like the publisher and the investors and the shareholders. They're gonna be like, what? Y'all want all of that? So y'all want his wrinkles in his pants. You know, I heard this stuff plenty of times behind the scenes. EA was saying stuff like that. EA was like, man, they asking for, I forgot what Brizzledon was saying, and he said, man, that's over the top. Why? Why do it have to be in the game? Breathing and stuff like that. Why did it have to be in the game? Everybody, before that idea even popped up, everything else that everybody wanted, it was all right. But when we start adding a whole lot of extra stuff, it like, to me, it's like, is that really necessary? That would change the history of boxing games and get us away from stamina bars. No, it's a bar. If we got bars, it's going to always be the same thing. We still dealing with bars. Stamina bar, whatever other name you want to call it, it's still a bar. It's a bar. It's a bar. No matter what, we always it's gonna be, we just adding an extra bar. We're gonna have like 10 bars on the screen. They might shrink them down, but we're gonna have 10 bars on the screen.
No, so what it is, I'm not selling that. I gotta really define the idea better. I was having this conversation with Leafy just now, and I think one thing I want to make sure it's not the idea that we're trying to. Okay, so there's something called like basic human breathing then, which is ventilation, right? So let's just say you're not doing any activity, like I'm just sitting here in my chair. So like if I was, I'm not thinking about breathing because it's not a strategy anymore. It's basic. What do you call it? It's like a basic necessity at this point. So if I just sit here and I really study how I breathe, okay, maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4 intake, and then some point, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 outtake, and that's a very slow breathing. But that's for life. That's a general life. The breathing I'm talking about, it's like when you're playing sports and you're planning to do a major, some kind of major activity, major event, a major attack. You have to prepare for that. You have to prepare for what you're doing, especially the longer the activities. Like let's just say you've been doing this activity for 30 minutes now, and your body's starting to get more tired now. But you should still have but the thing is, you should still have the ability to that. That if I prepare for that, I'm preparing. Like I'm not wasting my energy. I'm just kind of breathing. I'm preparing that I'm gonna hit this guy with a big shot. Maybe I might throw a big combination punch, right? But the thing is, the way we have boxing video games, and like if we look at Undisputed right now, the stamina bar is really your breathing mechanism. So let's just say your stamina goes on to 20% now. What can you do with a 20% stamina? It dictates how fast your punch is gonna throw. It dictates how much power and it dictates many things at this point. But the thing is, what if my stamina is 20%, but I'm trying to plan, maybe I'm planning to throw one big shot on this guy. So I'm breathing, I'm preparing myself for this. I'm preparing myself, or maybe I want to throw maybe a good 3-punch combination or 4, but I'm preparing myself. And if I prepare myself right and I have enough energy, I could go ahead and unleash it at that one moment. But I cannot do it multiple times. I have to prepare for it every time, right?
Yeah. But my thing is, from my experience, I'm going by my experience just in general. It might be different with everybody else. I don't think about my breathing when I'm fighting. I never think about, well, you know, oh man, you know, I just think about what I'm gonna do next. I could
Okay.
be
So
tired
okay,
or
hold
whatever.
on. I believe you are thinking about your breathing. So for example, there was a guy you fought. Going back to that, you fought a super heavyweight. Must have been
Yeah.
about 280 something. And by the time you got to the rounds, I would say the third. How many rounds was that fight? Was that a 3-round fight, or was that
It
how
was
many rounds did you
3.
fight max in that one? It was 3,
That was
right?
3.
By the time you got to the 3 rounds, you weren't throwing as fast anymore because you were fatigued. So what's going through your mind at that point now? If I'm
I
gonna,
wasn't
aren't you?
thinking. I wasn't thinking
So
about it at all.
So you're not telling me that, okay, you're gonna rest in between because you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna kind of catch my breath, I'm gonna rest, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can counter with a big shot. None of
Nope.
that's going through your head.
Never. That's not in my mind. I never think like I'm gonna rest, I'm gonna clench him. You know, some people probably do, but I never thought to clench him or do anything. And then I'm gonna gather all my energy back, and then I'm gonna just hit him with one good strong punch. For
Okay.
one, I shouldn't have been going all out in that fight because that was supposed to be an exhibition. After the fight, he was like, "Man, we friends, man. Why you gonna try to knock me out?" Hey, we was on TV. I was trying to look good. I wasn't trying to, and I made myself look bad. Let me see. Jay said, also spam doesn't come from a stamina bar. That's just bad mechanics. It is. It is. But
It's not that.
spam to me, spam should not be in a boxing video game. The word spam should not be a part of boxing. I explained that yesterday. If I'm able to hit you with, let's say, if I'm able to hit you with 5 or 6 right hands, something is wrong with that. And it ain't me throwing the same punch. I'm gonna move away from the word spam, but it's not from me. Because my thing is, if I catch you with a right hand and you didn't defend it, I'm gonna hit you with another right hand. You still didn't defend it. I'm gonna hit you with another right hand. If you ain't defending your body, I'm gonna work on your body all day long. I knock people out with body shots. I went to England. This guy, I had 12 fights at that time, amateur fights. I just turned open class. And the guy that I fought, I think he had 56 or 60 fights. So technically, you would say, hey, he should have dominated you. No, it's from Germany. And I beat that joker to the body. And that joker, I was like, he started dropping his hands. But my thing is, if I go by the logic of casual fans or the way people think, stop spamming his body. Man, bump that. If he ain't blocking his body, I'm going to hit him where I can hit him. It's about people not being defensive responsible. They be using that word spamming. Spamming is an arcade. Look it up. Y'all can look it up. So spamming is an arcade game terminology.
So going back to Jay, you said it's the same thing in my opinion. You cannot control breathing uncontrolled. So again, it really comes down to what I'm not talking about ventilation. I'm talking about key moments, right? One example I could use for you, and it might sound silly, but go look at those Fire Pro Wrestling games. They have a mechanic in place where it gets to a point when your character is so fatigued, you have to although it has its health bar and all this thing, you have to regenerate. You have to kind of recharge yourself if you want to execute like a major move at that point, because you're too laboring, you're too tired at some point, so you have to pick your spots. But here's the thing now. If you're saying spam doesn't come from a stamina bar, it's bad mechanics. So then therefore so then if you're saying it's bad mechanics, tell me how you would fix the undisputed bar so you would eliminate spamming. Because at the end of the day, as long as everything's connected to that stamina bar, it's inherent to always have spam, and and this will continue for the history of boxing games, from Undisputed, the Fight Night Champion series, the Knockout King series. Every boxing game is always going to suffer from that because everyone's always directly relating the stamina bar. The reality is too, look at the Undisputed modders. If you guys were play testing and you guys were showing that at one point everyone's complaining, oh, the stamina bar is taking too long to recharge now, so I can't throw combinations. And the reality is the stamina bar is basically, it was mimicking your oxygen intake to a certain respect. It's mimicking your oxygen intake to the point is that, well, why is it taking so long to recharge? Why am I holding my breath? That's what was going on with the monitor. So what are you guys gonna do? They're gonna say, okay, we're gonna let the stamina bar regenerate faster. Then you're playing that balancing game over and over to trying to find that sweet spot in terms of, okay, well, how do we make the game fun enough that it's not going to be too spammy, but it's going to give the guys the opportunity to throw, okay, I could throw a 3 to 5 point combination and not be fatigued after I throw it, kind of nonsense, right? And so until you guys, like, you got to separate stamina and have some kind of mechanic on the side that as the fight gets longer, you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to plan an attack. But Poe, you said you don't think about that, right? So that puts a dent with my arguments. But I do believe it exists. If I go back to JMMA, your name is, you put MMA in your name. When you're going here and when you sit down and you're doing groundwork and you're tired and you're getting ready to choke somebody out, what do? You're basically leaning on that person and you're just waiting for them. You're waiting for them to give you that opportunity that you could slip your arm underneath their neck and then try to choke them. You're not going to sit there and struggle with them all the time. You're planning an attack.
Yeah, but we can't use the same discipline. I mean, the same thing for every sport. Boxing and martial arts has a different setup.
No, but I'm just saying I'm just giving that example of specifically to JMMA, because he's MMA, right? Yeah. He would understand that aspect of it if he trains.
Yeah, and one thing Jay did say, kind of like, we use the arcade game that can that be implemented into a realistic boxing game? Realistic. But my argument is always going to be is people keep saying spam.
But hold on. Yeah, but Jay,
spam is not going the same over and over again. Spam.
But Jay, someone would. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
But Jay, someone with 20% stamina could charge up more and throw a power punch blow. That's practical. That's arcade, right? The thing is, when you're charging this thing up, it's not gonna hold that thing. It's gonna deplete. It's an ongoing thing. You raise up, you're respirated now, okay. But as you move and you start to move, raise your guard up and down. That thing's gonna start lowering, and then you have to breathe again to bring it back. So I'm saying it's adding another strategy to the game. I'm telling you, man, as long as the community, like, this is an idea that this is not arcadey. This is going to get you this is going to get you sim immersion. As long as the community keeps on saying that they want to go with the stamina bar and saying that, okay, it's mechanics that's causing it. It's the stamina bar. And in the history of boxing game, it's going to suffer that. It's going to suffer from that. But Jay, tell me how, if it's the mechanics, how to fix that. That's what I would like to know. By sticking with the concept of a stamina bar, how do you correct it then? That's what I would like to know. I'm asking, forget about Teamofimo. I'm asking now, if you were to correct the stamina bar, how do you correct it? That's what I would like to know, because it seems like Fight Night Champion couldn't figure it out. That was 11 years ago.
They weren't trying to figure it out. They wasn't trying to figure it out. I know that for a fact.
And this is what I'm saying. This is the inherent problem with boxing games. But if there's a way, I would like to know.
I don't know. A lot of people gonna say that's too much. It's like gonna take away from other things.
What's it
'Cause
going to take away
to
from
me-
the spamming?
no, I think it's gonna take away from just keep adding more. It's basically gonna be another bar. It's gonna be 3 or 4 bars on the screen. But my thing is, if there's it should be an option. Like, if you're gonna have that, it should be an option. No bars should be on the screen. If you're gonna play competitive play, that's what I always say. When you play competitive, it should be just competitive. All that stuff shouldn't be on the screen.
Yo, actually, too, Jay. Now I think more about the Teofimo fight. Yeah, he wasn't worried about that because he couldn't hit him. That so I wouldn't bring in the Teofimo fight into this argument here. It was his situation was he wasn't tired, nothing. He just couldn't hit the fucker, man. The guy's defense, man, like he could not hit Shakur Stevenson. He didn't know he couldn't figure out how to get inside. He couldn't figure out nothing, man. So it's not even a breathing exercise. Like he couldn't. That was more. That was just more. Paul, what's the word? Then he didn't have the strategy. He didn't have the strategy for him.
Ghostface Gorilla said, "Paul, spamming is not throwing the same punch over and over again." Let me see. Spam is using something that is generally broken and overpowered, that is abused. Nah, when you talk to the community, they talking about the same thing. I hear people be saying, "Oh, he jabbed spamming me. He's this spamming me." I'm like, "Yo, you serious?" He hooked it to the.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Jay, don't give me that two-faced thing about I'm talking to you as a game developer. Like it's like we're having a job. All I want to know is, if going back to the thing, if it's bad mechanics with the stamina bar in Undisputed, what I want to know is, okay, what is it that if it's bad mechanics, how would they fix it? Just keeping that stamina bar, or what is it like? That's what I just want to know. I just want to know specifically that stamina bar. Because look at the modder team for the Undisputed mod right now. All they're doing is playing around the stamina bar. Either we're gonna make it regenerate faster, or we're gonna make it regenerate lower. How is that gonna fix spam?
It's not. It's really not, because for one, they don't know what spam is. Now, this is one of the times that I agree with I'm not gonna say no names, but I agree with certain people that certain people don't know what they don't know what things are. They don't know how things work in the boxing ring. They making up how they feel. That's why I say options should be the key thing when they develop this game. Options for different player types. There should be options, but here go these elite people. No, we shouldn't have options. It should just be one thing. No, I'm not going to be that person to say that. What's up, Blaster X? Appreciate you popping in. Those are exploits, not low quality mechanics or gameplay.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Blaster. The exploits are linked to this stamina bar. This is what you guys are not getting. All this stuff is connected to the stamina bar. So the thing is, when Steel City, when they do the little friggin' tweaks on the stamina bar, either they're making it regenerate faster, or making it deplete slower. All that stuff, it's all dictated on that stamina bar. So, like, I don't know. If we're talking about mechanics, I have to assume that it's that there's broken mechanics.
Yo, it's Steel City.
I just want one answer how that stamina bar is gonna fix everything.
It's up to Steel City though. My thing is and what it is, the developers, they're not trying to make a boxing game to me. They're trying to make a fighting game.
They're not even having these conversations we're having right now.
No, they're not. They're not even doing like what I said. You could do film studies. trust me, and this one thing that as an artist, as a person that's an artist, if I was a developer and say I wanted to make a MMA game or a martial arts game, I will make it exactly the way it was supposed to act in real life, because you got film, you have something to visualize. And people say you got to be able to know what's the impact. No, you're looking at impact. You're looking at how certain things happen. You're looking at it. If what you make in the game reacts the same way as it does in the game, like that, I mean, in real life, that means you did your job right. It's not like you gotta, hey, I'm gonna take a couple of classes of MMA, go get my black belt in martial arts. No, there are people back in the days that was making these games. They didn't do all that stuff, but they made the games look good. So in this era, there's no excuse for companies not to make things the way they look. So you know when people be saying that, so the person that made the Jason games, the person that made Call of Duty, yeah, they have special people that came in there that showed them stuff. They didn't know it. They had specialists come in there that was in the military. That I forget his name. That he's a military specialist. They got his name, Tom Clancy's on all them games, and he was like going to all these companies helping them with their games because he's an expert in what he know about military stuff. Let me see, bro. Jay get heat for everything. I'm not gonna lie, I ain't seen a nigga disagree like this since Joe Dirt.
What do you mean Jay's getting heat, man? The other day he gave a brilliant response for a pole counter. I loved it.
The attributes for long, short-term stamina, conditioning, and fatigue was a good idea. It just wasn't properly invested in it. Yeah, I agree. They had a lot of things in the beginning, before Will came, that they took out. And if you go back and look at the old, what'd you say?
You know why?
That BPM.
It's so easy to label everything arcade.
The BPM meter, that looked it was a good idea, but I don't think it should have been on screen unless you wanted it to.
So wait. Going back to that BPM. So that's the that was the original adrenaline meter, right?
Yeah.
What was the conversation behind that?
It's sort of similar to what you're saying.
Yeah, it does have some similar because the whole idea that it's rewarding you. Well, that meter it's kind of, but the whole thing, it's more of a reward system, really.
Yeah.
It's a reward system. So basically it's almost like, if you think about, there is an arcade aspect to that one, because from what I remember, it's almost like if I do 4 successful attacks, then that thing's charging up, and then once I get to that point, okay, now it's gonna give me access to that. It's gonna give me access to that fuel, and do anything I want to, and do anything I want with it, but with a penalty associated with it afterwards.
I don't remember that part.
Well, how do you get to use it?
No, I don't. No, I thought it was like basically like in real life how you keep building up and you could drop back down, building up and it could just drop down. It basically like, you get that hold up. I believe the BPM system would have been exploited in my opinion, but I would like to see it come back. Good point, Paul. Yeah, I would like for it to come back, but I don't want to see it. That's the thing. I don't want to see these things. We know it's there. We know it, if we wanted it to be there, yeah, but I don't want it to be like on the base game. Like we're playing. Let fans see that it's there so they could have something as a reference point at some point, something like that. But
But is it
just
immersion?
what'd you say?
Is it immersion? Do you think it actually it adds the boxing immersion in the game?
Yeah, yeah, it does. I think it does because it makes you start thinking about certain things, certain ways to play realistic to boxing. You're going to do certain things to make sure that because if your heart rate is just too fast. I forgot Ash explained it because it was so long since they had it, but your heart rate get too high or something like that, you know you got to cool your guy down. I forgot exactly what I said, but you got to make sure you keep it a certain way. And then when you keep like basically doing the right thing, or like if you're fighting somebody and you hitting them with good punches, and then you have it because it
But that's
happens in real life. Because
but
you
that's
could
what's
be,
charging it, right?
but listen, you could be dead tired in boxing, and I seen it. I did it. You could be dead tired in a boxing match, and then you catch that guy with one strong punch. You stagger him, and from out of nowhere, you got energy. I'm dancing around and everything. I don't cracked him and knocked him out. I mean, he dazed and everything. I said, "Oh, now I'm running up on him, throwing like 3 or 4 punches." That's how the BPM system should work. Your
But
adrenaline it builds up.
but what's building it up? Like, what was the what? How were they? How was it designed to build
I
up? Like,
forgot
does it go
exactly.
back to I was saying? Okay, it's like every time you do something successful, okay, it's beefing it up. It's fueling. It's adding energy to it. Then
Yeah, in a way it is, in a way it's not. The way they had it, it was kind of almost perfect the way they had it set up. Because I was like, I looked at it as being arcade, but then when Ash explained it, and I said, "Oh, okay, you got to go back and watch that video." But the way he was explaining, I said, "Oh, all right, I see what you're saying now." Because I was like, "Oh man, we got more stuff on the screen. That's arcade." A lot of people keep saying they want realism, but then they want a billion bars on the screen, and that's where the arcade come from. When you
what?
gotta guess, that's where the realism come from.
Right. Jay mentioned that he thinks it could have been exploited. How? How would this thing be exploited?
I don't see it. The only way I can see it being exploited is actually like the meta being on the screen, because people find ways to exploit things because they could see it. They could see ways by they'll sit there and test it for about hours and hours and be like, well, this is all I got to do. But if you don't see it, it won't be exploited. Let me see. What you do? Change your name around? The algorithm reacts boxing. Did you change just man? Did you go and change your name and pop back in?
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm pressing for my fucking this thing where you kind of have to gather yourself kind of thing and prepare. I just feel like it will change everything. It will change how it basically it's one another way to differentiate a boxing game from playing a Street Fighter game. Street Fighter games won't have that shit in it.
Then like the older games like Victorious Boxes and stuff like that. No, it wasn't that. It was the Sprite boxing, something yeah, the wrestling game. You said it, but
The
that has it in
platform.
it. But I never seen it in a boxing game or modern like MMA or anything like that.
Because no combat sport has ever attempted it before. This is the conversation we've been having on the full podcast. This is what it led to. This whole getting these like really thinking outside the box. It's never been in a boxing game before.
Yeah,
What does
I don't
Street
know.
Fighter have? You know what the equivalent? You know what could be? If we were to go back to the BPM system, technically, Street Fighter. You know, on Street Fighter, there's a health bar, but then there's that other bar where you're kind of every time you do like you do a technical block or you land a successful shot. That thing keeps on building up, and eventually, once it's full, it allows me to unleash a super attack and blow up the whole screen and fuck the guy up, everything kind of stuff, right? That's what it. So that's what Street Fighter has. So I don't know. Like if we go back to the BPM, depending on how that BPM meter is filling up, it could be actually mimicking Street Fighter.
Yeah, but that's not when the way I explained it. That wasn't the way it was set up. Because I'd have jumped on that immediately, but no, it wasn't. It sounded realistic to me the way he was explaining it. It's the video with I think with Eddie Hall fighting Adelaide. I think it's in that video. And you know, it then had a Street Fighter feel to it. Let me see. Ghostface Gorilla said it can be exploited easy. Just don't throw punches.
What?
What you mean? What you mean by it could be exploited easy? Just don't throw punches.
The only way the oxygen thing I'm talking about can't be exploited.
That's true too. That's true. But the thing is, with Steel City is we depend on people that don't really care for boxing to create boxing the way we want to. That's why I be saying when I be saying this, the survey and you know, and boxers being in the studio and stuff. You know, no shade to Jay Shep or CB, but they not cutting it. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. You know, I don't have no negative to say about Jay, but just being there don't make it seem like, you know, you're gonna make them change. Hey, I box and that's it. At least when I was talking to EA, the guys from EA and stuff, I was literally saying, hey, you know, I was talking boxing to them. Every time I chance I got, I was talking boxing to them. Their thing is it's like it's just a job and they don't care about anything else about the job. Let me see. Dark and Vicious. Salute for popping in. Enjoy your broken game. Street Fighter, Tekken, and Sedgwick will always be better than any boxing game because our fight night never gets to evolve too basic.
You know what? Darth, I absolutely agree with you because that sounds like a casual's answer who doesn't like boxing. You just play your Street Fighter game, so that makes sense. You see Undisputed for what it is. Undisputed is just another fighting game out there. It's just another fighting game that gives you the opportunity to buy DLC of real life characters. That's about it. Undisputed is not trying to distinguish itself as a sports like a boxing game. It really it's just a fighting game. Street Fighter has its own skin. Tekken has its own skin. Soul Calibur has its own skin. Undisputed has its own skin. You know, it's just that's what it comes out to.
Hold up, Jay. I got to get on you, man, because I try not to go in on you, Jay. You said as someone who watches a lot of fighting games, they're just more than arcade games. There are a lot of they're arcade games. That's the main thing I'm saying. Is they're arcade games. That's the thing. They're arcade games. So their premise is always going to be arcade.
So Jay, what are you telling me? You're telling me there's something we can learn from Dragon Ball Z, the video game?
They're good for what they are. It's like me playing, like, say I was good at Fight Night Champion or Undisputed, if they were perfect the way they were supposed to be. And then me going over to a fighting game and saying something about it. I can't say nothing about a fighting game. I watched them. I enjoy watching some of them. I played Tekken plenty of times. Had almost all the copies. But I know that what they are is a total difference. It's like me trying to compare UFC to boxing. Like me having an argument about UFC and argument about boxing. They're two different things. Yeah, they kind of function the same way, but they're different.
You know what? Jay, I agree with you. There is depth in those games. Yeah, I agree. It's not just arcade. There's more depth, but the thing is, what I don't want to confuse depth. If we're trying to make realism, like you can't say Street Fighter does what is Street Fighter basing its realism on? That's the Street Fighter universe, or the Tekken universe, or the Soul Calibur, or the Dragon Z universe. It's based on what happens in those universes, but those universes are not based on reality. By the way, talk about reality, man. I was so busy, but did you see over the weekend Steel City Inc. dropped their very first, I believe it's their first Undisputed tutorial?
Yeah.
I want to know, I don't know if my mind's playing tricks on me, but I swear to God, everyone's saying it's the first time they released that, but I have to doubt it, man. I feel like they did have something maybe back in the beta or very early. I can't believe, and if it's not the case, I'm shocked that they finally released a tutorial at this point, at this stage, man. Like, is that the case?
Yeah, you giving them too much credit. They ain't put out the tutorial.
Well,
we was begging for that. People was begging for that.
But I'm just kind of shocked that it come like version 1.0 came out October of 2024. So it's been over November, December. It's been over 12 plus 3. It's over 15 months, and they finally released that, man.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild, man.
Yeah, it's deceptive tactic.
Yeah, just in time for the friggin' for the February free release of this Undisputed. But I don't know, what does that say about a company like Steel City who decides that now it's the right time to release a tutorial about the game? And you know what, too? You would think, too, that they would kind of release some more tutorials to kind of explain to the gamers, like, okay, people complaining about it, they can't cut off the ring. Well, come out with a tutorial and change everyone's opinion that you can cut off the ring. Show them how the game works. And if they can't, and Steel City cannot come out tutorial how to cut off the ring, then that means the community is right. You cannot cut off the ring.
Random thoughts say arcade to me is Ready to Rumble or Punch Out. But Street Fighter and all those are arcade games. It's nowhere around it. They say they're arcade games. The developers say they're arcade games. Look it up. You type in Street Fighter or Tekken, they're gonna say arcade fighter.
Hey, yo, Ghostface, no way, man. I'm not I ain't agree with that shit, man. Don't tell me Ready to Rumble's better boxing game Undisputed. That's bullshit.
Yeah, you're not.
That's bullshit, man. Ready to Rumble. Do you realize Ready to Rumble has if you spell out the word Rumble, then you get access to a super.
Yeah.
You get access to the super move. Come on, man.
Or Punch Out. They just nostalgia games. They're not better games. It's just that compared to what we got, I see how you said, but no. Street Fighter is fantasy. Yeah. Let me see. Fight night game events host games with banned characters. Fighting games events host games with banned characters. A true boxing game wouldn't have banned. Yes, the way Steel City do things, I think they will Box X. Steel City want this to play like a arcade game. They want this to play like a fighting game. Everything they doing because they trying to find a way to monetize this game as much as possible. And they're idiots because I told them what's the easiest way without seeming like they're scamming people. But no, nobody likes to listen to Paul. Hold on, random thoughts.
The easiest way to make it seem like you're not scamming is just take it out of your marketing and advertising. Don't call it a authentic boxing experience, and then therefore then you can't argue with it after.
Yeah,
that's the biggest issue. As long as they keep on commuting authentic boxing experience, then people have a right to come down on them.
Let me see. Jay say, I disagree, laughing out loud. Arcade or not, I'm a comp setting certain fighters would be banned. In competitions, certain boxes would be banned. That to me, that's weird to me. That's weird because even if the game was, are you saying if the game was fixed? Because if the game was fixed and you're banning certain fighters, that's weird. That's weird to me.
Right now, in Undisputed, you have to ban. If it's welterweight, you have to ban Fundora. If it's heavyweight, I think you should ban Larry Holmes now.
And that's weird for that to even have to be a thing.
Right now, because Steel City doesn't want it. They're not fixing anything. Larry Holmes, the combination right now for him is a lead straight to the body, and while you're throwing it, it's kind of like you're throwing a power jab like on a delay every time, because you could button mash, right? So every time you throw that lead and you catch him, it stuns and then pop him with a power jab to his head over and over. It's like a trick right now. Very hard. It's very difficult to defend.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now, Jay. He said if the game was fixed, yes. Laughing out loud, not because of the game. People just complain about that stuff. Yeah, okay, I understand now. Ghostface Gorilla said, look, I'ma tell you what why Ready to Rumble is better than Undisputed. Ready to Rumble actually works in old gang, plays smoother and way more responsible. I figured that's what you were saying. I figured that much. Yeah, it's a working game. But this one thing we got to also say, when people be clowning what's that, Prize Fighter? Prize Fighter wasn't a good game. It wasn't a finished game, but people still clown it.
Because the punches were going through the character, they're phasing through them.
Yeah. Man, you should. If I could have recorded what that guy was saying that was making the game, if I could have just that Joker, he always sounded like he was crying, like looking for, you know how you got a little brother and somebody bullied him, and he come to you to help him. It's like he was looking for me to bail him out with 2K. I said, y'all the ones signed up with him. I said, y'all let them absorb y'all into their company. He said they was rushing them. And that right there shows me how much power a publisher has. So with Steel City, the publisher has more power, has a lot of power, not more power. Whoever got part of that 51% that ads don't have no more has the power.
Yo, So right now Undisputed we're on 2.0 something, right? And now they've going back to that whole thing with the tutorial that they finally released. Does that technically mean that what we're on right now, this is the official release of the game? It should, like everyone always said, oh well, the game was rushed. It was rushed to market. They needed more time because it came out in October 2024. That video comes out the end of the last day of February, last day of January. Came out I think Saturday, whatever, right? On the 31st. Does that mean officially this is the official launch of the game? That it should have been if they needed more time?
That's a good
Fix
question.
everything too.
Yeah, that sounds like a good question. Jay, what you mean by if I can interview him, I would. I'm about to start this script on that game. What game? What are you talking about? Were you saying something that Jay is referring to? Back to your original point a while ago. I'm not dependent on Sheep to fix the game because that's not his job. Oh shit, the game. I'm not giving flack to people who don't really deserve it.
No, but the thing about that's 2 times you said thing about Shep fixing the game. I don't know why you're thinking about Shep fixing the game. The context of Shep really is why did they release the tutorial? We're talking about a tutorial that comes out about 15 months after the game's released. That has nothing to do with Shep trying to fix the game.
No, I reference Shep. I reference Shep and CB because they once you when I said something and you said, well, I box, he box. Hold up, you saying you box, he box. You didn't have to say anything. Once you say that, that means you're in the studio as a boxer. Because I said they don't have boxers in the studio anymore. I said they push the boxers out. Then Shep said, he said, I box and CB box. That don't mean anything. If y'all not saying anything. It don't mean nothing at all because I'm pretty sure Steel City would have listened to them if they really pushed up.
If the the thing is that's not their role. Their role is completely different. They're not responsible for any of what. They're not responsible for the gameplay. That comes down to Will Kinsler and his and the gameplay designers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when even when I was with EA, I'm using myself as an example. I was a community leader and a community senior community moderator, but I still had access to the developers, and I constantly used to tell them different things from a boxing perspective, and they got access to the developers, so they could be using their voices. No matter what job they got, they have access. That's the main thing that they could be saying, hey, this don't look right, that don't look right. You're behind the scenes. We're not. Even if a person, a janitor, he still should be able to say something that means something.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, because the way he chimed in real quick, to defend themselves. And I'm like, because I said, there's no boxer in the studio to get them feedback and stuff like that. He jumped in quick.
Who?
Jay Shep and CB, but CB he be talking slick. He be talking slick. That's why if I was at the studio and he'd be like, let me see what you got, and I crack him in the ribs real quick. Like my brother always say, don't play with people when they be trying to see what you got. Let them jokers know you're not to be played with. He said, all that junk like that, let me see what you got. Because it's like they really don't care. It's like it's a job. It's just a job. It shows, in no disrespect, it shows the passion.
Well, okay, what is CB's the community manager, right?
Yeah.
So the two things. Okay, so what is the
And I
scope of
think you
his
do
role?
most.
What is the scope of his role, and can he go beyond the scope? Like, can he go beyond the scope of his role? One thing I would say, I think it could be within his role, because if you're the community manager, you have access to all this data, man. We're seeing every day. All that's
Yeah,
data that's being communicated in the Discord all the time. The only person I ever saw that made an attempt to do something right was that guy that got rid of the Steve dude.
yeah.
He was actually, you could see he was creating a framework, and boom, you clapped his eye, gone. Get rid of him one
Yeah.
time, man, because you're doing too much, kind of stuff, right?
Jay Shep tried to take over and start doing the same thing, and then it stopped. It like literally stopped.
So
And
then,
I'm like, yo.
So then, in the context of Steel City, it's out of it. It would look like it's out of scope because they don't want them to do it,
Yup.
to the point that they canned the other guy.
Yeah, JJ and Mame say they make content for the game, laughing out loud. I don't really see that point. I was a community, I was a moderator. I was a community leader. That was what I was doing, was out my scope, but I still try to influence the developers. That's why my wish list got sent to them. He asked for, he's like, hey, Poe, send the wish list that y'all been gathering. I send, they say, gather more ideas. I send them that. And when we did the round tables that I used to give, that's why I always say, and I got the round, one of them is still out there. You know, the round tables, all that stuff that they used to say, that's bull crap. We can't do a round table like that.
What you're saying is right. You know why? And now when I think about it closely, so anywhere you work, a good organization, they'll always have something where, let's just say every month or so, they'll have a team meeting, and everybody, all the different team members are coming, and they're gonna share ideas.
Yeah.
It's a forum. It comes down really to your corporate culture. If the corporate culture has that, if they're creating that, they're creating those kind of meetings that facilitate it to get those ideas. Because a lot of times too, like, the best ideas you'll get is from your frontline workers.
Yup.
When you want to know what the hell's wrong with your product, the frontline workers, they're the one getting the information. Technically, when you think about it too, if we say, okay, well, these guys are only content creators, this and that, Jay, you're almost like a frontline guy, because you're getting all that. As you said, people are saying people dislike you. Or anything you say, it's always gonna be reviewed under a fine comb kind of stuff, right? But the thing is, they should be getting that information back from all the content creators too, to figure out what's wrong.
You said for EA, Poe, laughing out, times are different. It should be better. It should be better. When we saying times, when people say times are different, it's supposed to evolve. It's supposed to evolve. Things should be better. It should be more, you're supposed to learn from the mistakes of other companies. He said, I can't say much, but I think you're giving too much credit to SCI. Laughing out loud. If they listen to people, we wouldn't be here. Yeah, they don't listen to people. I know that. It developers out there, they never listen to us before they even got all of the investors, and they got the big publisher, and they got the shareholders. Those came later.
Oh, times haven't changed, man. Jay doesn't know what he's talking about. They haven't changed, man. I just went on a whole friggin' thing. That's a common thing that you see in work environments, where they get everybody on the team to contribute to figure out what's going on. So times haven't changed. It's just what's the problem is that it's Steel City Interactive. It's a toxic environment, or you know what I mean? That's what's really going on. Or it comes down to what kind of Kool-Aid are you drinking from Steel City that make you think these things afterwards? But to say that times haven't changed, it's still in existence today. Those tactics they have, they're like, look at Steel City. They hired all those HR people. That's part of the role too. The to lay out those
Yup,
kind of exercises to facilitate that, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
yup,
times haven't changed. It's Steel City.
yup. That was brought to my attention. I noticed it, but it was brought to my attention by somebody in the industry. Look how many people that they got doing marketing. Marketing is not a role for all those people that they got. Everybody is marketing or pushing the game more. You hire at least 2 or 3 people for marketing. Really one. For this size team, one person. But they got it look like they probably like 8 people doing marketing. That's crazy. So that means that it's almost living up to like what you would do as a scam. Everything is about money now. Everything they doing is like money based. And it's like, hey, we're gonna get more money, find another way to get money.
Jay just said he's not a frontline guy. People don't like my opinion on the game. I still say there's still a lens you can look through that you're a frontline guy. You're just like any other paying customer, even though the maybe CSI gave you the game for free and you don't have to put paid sponsorship in your content, but you are a frontline guy. You're testing game out and you're giving reviews. They chose you to do that.
Oh, hold up now. Let me get on Jay about this. Jay, I keep telling you, man, y'all content creators. Content creators run these companies technically because y'all making content. Y'all can make a company do what y'all want almost. So y'all supposed to be the in between for the community to these companies. So when we want y'all to speak, I mean, be our barrier for us, talk for us, y'all can push these companies to do things. It ain't gotta be Ash, it ain't gotta be Steel City, but the investors. If y'all making videos going like saying certain things, it's gonna put fear in the investors and the shareholders.
But there's a but to that, man.
But
One,
what?
they have to realize that with Jay and the other content creators involved, they're not advocates.
Who they
That's one
advocate
thing you have to
for?
realize. There's a difference between somebody who's an advocate versus somebody who's they're kind of promoting.
Yeah, but when you say advocate, who are they advocates for? Nobody?
You're advocates like it's like your podcast. This is all advocation that we're doing every day. We're
Yeah,
advocating the issues, and you know what I mean. They're
yeah,
not advocates. So that's what, and they could. It's up to them if they want to advocate or not, right? But
yeah,
from
yeah.
what we've seen, they're not going to advocate. They're not going to advocate. Once in a while, we might hear them. They might make a little rumble, but they're not advocates.
Flo said they don't want to listen to people, but in the same breath want to talk about how their first game make it make sense. Oh yeah, they keep talking about it's their first game. That disappeared after the first year. That was told to me. You can't use that excuse because I could see if it was like still Ash and his brothers making the game, that applies. Ash and his brothers just making the game. But once you start getting veterans on your team, that goes away. All that this our first game stuff just disappears. That don't hold water. That don't hold water at all. You got veterans on your team. And you've been doing this game for 6 years? They've been doing this game for 6 years. So there's no excuses at all.
But
Go ahead.
if we say the first game, what is the first game? Because it started off as what? It was ESBC rebranded it. EBC was the alpha, then they went to beta, then they went to early access, and then they went full version, right? It's the but it's the same game. It's the same game going through the different stages of development, right?
No, on the ESBC, they stopped working on that one. It's not the same game.
Okay, if we were to say
What's
ESPC
even
was
said
different
it.
from Undisputed, then what you're saying is correct. But
Yeah.
from my opinion, I know a lot of people, I always thought that to me, Undisputed looks like ESBC to me. All it was is that they changed the camera view. They made it, instead of having more close up or more dynamic close, they wanted it more far back so you could see the footwork. You could see the entire leg. You could see from the foot all the way up to their waist and watch and see the foot movement. With the other camera in EBSC, you couldn't really see it when it zoomed in all the time.
The graphics even look different, but Will said it's not the same game. He even said it's not the same game. Let me see. Jay said. Go ahead.
Jay said, "I hope Undisputed 2 is arcade. That's what I'm advocating." So that's one thing we have learned, Jay, because we've learned that you like to troll. So I know that's not the truth.
Let me see. Plo said they are acting like they are making the first boss. Yeah, that's right there. See, that's why I be saying an intelligent person will see past what Steel City is doing. When they at Steel City act like this is the first boxing video game ever made. And that's crazy for people to fall but for that. There have been 100 and something games that have been made before them, even though there was different kinds, but there were games that came before them. There were not even boxing games, sports games in general. There's plenty of sports games that they could have used inspiration from. Like I posted a video, was it today? Yesterday. It showed all the wrestlers in the ring, but they saying they can't put a referee in the ring. And I knew that was a lie because somebody said something right behind it. Said referee slows down the action. And I remember a couple of people, like casual people, were complaining about the referee in the ring, which was the stupidest thing, but they're not complaining about it in other games that they like. It's like they intentionally destroyed this game. Let's advocate for arcade. I'll make a video on it this week. I got you.
That's a good idea. Hey, Jay, that's a good idea. You know why? If you're gonna go if you feel like you want to go in that direction, my first advice to you is make the video and start telling Steel City to remove from their marketing and advertising that this is an authentic boxing experience. That could be your first video right there, man. That'll be beautiful.
Yep.
That'll get the ball rolling to make sure we all know that you're advocating for an arcade game. I love beautiful idea, man.
Yeah, a lot of people keep saying they never advertised this as a realistic boxing game. It was in all of the everything they had. A realistic sim.
It's still right there. It's there right now. First thing you go on the Reds, right there. They refuse to pull it down.
Ash repeated it. I literally cut that section out of a video. Ash said realistic sim. He said it numerous times. But somebody on the team said, hey, no, call it authenticity. And guess who said that? Because that's a EA word. No investors, nobody else put that word out there.
Yo, Jay, man, I agree with you saying, man. More money in your pocket, man. Yeah, man, make an next $5,000.
He said, I want to scam people like you. Let's advocate for our kids.
He ain't scamming me. He's just making himself look like a fool right now.
Oh man. Yeah, but you know, it's like Steel City got something great and they destroyed it. And their thing is they think they could bully us. It's like you're the only one on the block with a lemonade stand and you sell them with dirty water. You make a lemonade with dirty water, but nobody else is making lemonade. So you buy it anyway.
Yeah, Jay, we could agree on that for sure, man. Why you're making those advocate videos? Make a video on pull counter, man. Make a good video on pull counter and make one on pulling cheeks as well. See if you can make a pull cheeks video as well.
Oh man, y'all, wow.
On that note, I gotta go, man. I'll catch you later.
All right, appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
All right. Man, y'all wildin', man. Yeah, man. Jay, be honest with me. Are you gonna make that video or nah? You just saying that just to keep me off your back. I'm okay with you not doing it. I just wanted to know. Cause I might even though I might make the video, it's still not gonna hold the same power as somebody like you, Paroxys, or somebody else make it. And I even reached out to Paroxys and asked him to could he join in and push for Steel City to make a survey. But I'm guessing you a lot of these guys want somebody to pay them to make a video about something like this. But my thing is, even if the ideas that I want, and I mean, if Steel City make the game the way a lot of people make, it makes content for y'all. If they make certain things, what's up, Narco Reacts? Appreciate you, man. Yeah, but if Steel City makes the game the way fans want, a lot of fans are asking for, there's plenty of content that that's out there for content creators. Especially, let me see, I made a script that I was gonna read and I forgot about it. Let me see. I meant to post it. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. Especially for guys like, what's his name? That be making them weird videos. Ricky J. Especially for Ricky J. Ricky J will benefit from career and simulation content, like boxer career mode, start as an amateur, regional, stuff like that. Content creators will benefit from that. People will want to see that. These kind of videos, they will gain views. Like if you got promoters, promoter rivalries, that's content. Let me see. The creator angles. Can I become champ with glass hands? One loss ruined my career. See, it's so much that these things. Watch mode or spectator mode. That would be a great content for creators. Creation suite, that's always a good thing. People love the creation mode. I know a lot of people don't. They find it annoying or tedious for some people, but these are things that pulls their good content creation things. Creating referees, just creating something. Creating referees, creating trainers, managers, promoters, creating stuff that pulls in content. Let me see. Creating gyms, like you creating a gym, you sitting there like literally letting people watch you create gyms or creating arenas, stuff like that. That's content. I know a lot of y'all said Poe be wanting too much. It's like that's too immersive. It's content. Sandbox mode, that's content. Modern content. Let me see. You say, what's up? Yeah, but it's so much that's out there for content. Even when even the tournaments, there should be tournament modes built into the game. Y'all shouldn't have to literally have to set up tournaments. It should be in a game. I've been saying this for decades. Content mode should be baked into a boxing game. I mean, tournaments. So you could create, say, all right, we're gonna have a tournament, such and such against such and such, and you can put the names and everything for a tournament. So you got the tournament mode built in. That's content. Or you could have a what would you say, a ranking system that y'all actually like y'all could play as promoters and stuff. Y'all could be promoters. Yeah, like y'all could play as promoters, like, you know, a couple of guys pick, you know, have their own different promotions. There should be promotion modes baked into the game. So you could promote certain guys online that want you to promote them. And then you have a setup and you can say, hey, you could go to this gym, and the gym could be owned by somebody that's one of the players. He don't made a great gym. He got boxes there and everything. And you can say, hey, I'm your promoter, and this is the gym we're working out of. That's great content. Great content. Even if the career mode was deeper, that would have been great content, because you could be like, well, we're going to, like, somebody created Mike Tyson if he don't be in the ring. And you going through his career and you letting him fight all these different people. That's great content. You're going to get people that don't watch video games. Exactly. You're going to get people that don't even watch video games. They're going to want to follow the career mode if the game was realistic the way that a lot of people are asking for. His you know, the different content. You'd be like, hey, somebody build Mitch Green. Tyson going to fight Mitch Green in the career at some point if he survived. So you build a career mode. You got Mike Tyson fighting modern boxers. People going to watch that. They want to see how far you're going to go, and if Mike Tyson fight the way he fights. Even if you just say, I'm going to play promoter and just let the computer take control of my boxer, that's content. And the boxer fights the way he's supposed to fight. Or you're a trainer in the corner, that's content, because you're able to talk to your boxer depending on how the boxer is. Because with boxers, it's all about chemistry. Either you're going to listen to the trainer or you're not, or you're going to listen to him sometimes, depending on how the fight goes. That's content. There's so much content that could be made with online and offline modes. And a lot of people, they thinking, you got to think as a kind of like a businessman with this. I'm not thinking as a businessman. I'm thinking as a content creator. Like if I wanted to make content for people that will get them interested. Imagine you say, all right, let's see, can I replicate Manny Pacquiao's career with modern boxers? People gonna watch that. You're gonna probably get thousands of views. People gonna watch that. You're gonna get people that don't even play video games that's gonna watch it. But we're not asking for the right things. That's why I be saying, if the game was realistic, people will watch it. It's content. The problem is that it seems that at some point the money people took control early in the game's development. The people with passion for the sport aren't in the driver's seat. I don't think there's Ash the only if I'm being honest from my conversations, Ash was basically the only person on the team that had the passion. That had passion for having a boxing game realistic. Anybody even said, he said a lot of the boxers are not, a lot of the developers are not boxing fans. He said it. You may get a couple of developers that came there and said, yeah, I'm a boxing fan because it looks good. It's what got them hired. But they don't care about boxing. They don't care about boxing. Because they would have, if they cared about boxing, they would have said what worked 15 and 20 years ago does not work today. That's what they should have told the publishers, investors, and the shareholders. What worked 20 and 15 years ago do not work today. And they would have probably listened. At all. Exactly. At all. It does not work. And what I be telling people, imagine somebody that played the game when they were 15 years ago. Somebody that was 15 years ago, or 20, 15 years ago. They're 35 or 30 now. But you'll get a lot of these people saying, oh, they aged out of playing video games. Nah. Like I was saying earlier, that's the stupidest thing in the world when people say, you're too old to be playing video games. That logic doesn't hold any kind of weight. Like I said, my mother, her generation, they didn't play video games. Before her, they didn't play video games. But in my generation, we played video games. So how you gonna say that's childish? You shouldn't be playing video games. That's our era. We played video games. We matured with video games. We saw video games change. Let me see. They need someone like the lead developer of Gran Turismo. His first question in the interview process is probably, do you love cars? Laughing out loud. Yeah, that should have been it. So what do you think about boxing? Who your favorite boxers? Let me interview people. And y'all be like, Poe, what do you know about development? Trust me, when I was helping Round for Round, I was telling them all the developers that they need. And they was like, we can't afford all them developers. They was trying to get this company, what was the name of the company? I forget the name of that company. Because the guy was going to give me money to make a boxing video game. But at that time, I was like, it's like he put me on the spot. He said, man, you got a lot of great ideas. He saw my wish list, the ideas that I be making. He said, yo, he said, I'll invest in that. He said, I can't do it because I'm working on projects, but, I'll invest in that. And I was like, I said, you serious? He said, yo, I'll invest. If you wanted to make a game, he said, you will have to get more money. You had to get more people to help you, but I'll put money in it to get you started. And I was like, I was nervous. And I feel bad now because Ash didn't have the opportunity I had at first. And Ash made it work. He literally started reaching out to people, which I know people. I could have been like, yo, Shannon Bridge, you know, could you look out and help me promote this game? Could you be a part of the process? And I probably could have got Shannon to help me at that time. But I wasn't thinking. I panicked. It's like I was like a deer in headlights. He said, I'll invest. When he said, I'll invest, I was like, hold up. That's the first time somebody said that. I know EA be like, yo, send me the wish list, and we're going to just give you probably like 2 or 3% of it. But this joke was like, yo, man, them great ideas. It was a couple of developers that said, they said, yo, all the ideas you got, man, you gotta be a millionaire. You gotta, that's an expensive thing that you want. And you gotta have a lot of millions to go behind that. So a lot of them, they like shied away from, they loved the ideas I had, but they shied away from it. What's up, Dave Love Cats? I hope that ain't my son hot with a crazy name, because my son love cats. A cat. Let me see. Dave Love Cat. Yeah. Talk about round 4. No, yeah, talk about round for round. How it started and what happened. Man. Why you want me to talk about round for round? Are you I don't know why I forget his name, because we used to talk all the time. Are you associated with round for round? Because I was there. Yeah, but round for round, they pulled me away from a couple of people that wanted me to be a part of their games. Okay. Yeah, round for round pulled me away from a couple of companies that wanted me to be a part of their games that they was making. Like the game that that's one of the reasons why I'm upset with Showbiz the Adult, because the guy asked me and Showbiz the Adult to come. He wanted us to help him. I think I would have been a better choice to be there, because to me, Showbiz the Adult, he cares about being seen and everything, and he don't really add too much to it. Me, I give breakdowns of what can go into something. I give like detailed feedback about stuff. Showbiz just say certain things, and he don't know the mechanics of stuff. Showbiz is just a good talker. He's a good talker. Me, I don't like to talk a lot. This the most I've been talking in years. Not a talker. So with the it was called Cap, it's Canada Cap or something like that. I forget the name of the company. But he contacted me and Showbiz. And I didn't get my email until late. So I end up like Marky Pablo. If anybody know Marky Pablo, he's you know, in the Fight Night community, he's like one of the high ranked guys in the Fight Night community and stuff like that. He contacted me and he's like, yo Po, it's this guy, he's trying to make a boxing video game and you should be a part of it. And I said, let me check it out. And you know, I was like listening to I was listening to him. Yeah. What was the homeboy name that was making the game? Alan? Was it Alan? I forget, man. I apologize too. I forget his name. But he contacted me and we started talking, and he like really liked what I was saying, my ideas and everything. So I started getting him boxers. That's what a lot of people don't realize. I was good at getting boxers because I know how to talk the language. Hey, I box. I know what you're going through. And a lot of them, we had a conversation. There's so many boxers because of that company that they stopped talking to me. A lot of them unfriend me. And I'm like, yo, it's not my fault. I quit. I left that company. But a lot of boxers, they got mad at me. And some of them I was like, and my thing was like, I used to tell every boxer, I said, when you sign a contract, do not sign to one company because you never know. EA might make a game and you could be in that game. If EA tell y'all to sign an exclusive contract, do not sign it because there's going to be other companies that might challenge them. Always leave your options open. I said that to Jamel Herring. I said that to Clarissa Shields. We had Clarissa Shields. We had Jamel Herring. We had a lot of people. We had Zab Judah. I said, Zab Judah, do not sign an exclusive deal. And I was to them, that was bad because, hey, you supposed to be a part of our team, and you telling boxers not to sign an exclusive deal. You don't have no money. You're going to pay them from DLC. You don't have no money. So they should be maximizing as much money as they can from different companies. And if they're getting money from different companies, you can get a lower price because they say, all right, I'm getting money from this company, so I ain't got to get all this money from one company. But they weren't thinking right. Let me see. Wow, yeah, I saw all the boxers on board. Some even made videos, but exactly. Like Joseph Parker. Who else wanted to be there? They're supposed to have David Tua. David Tua was supposed to be a part of it. I think Joseph Parker was helping us get David Tua. They had so many boxes. I think we had at that time almost 300 or 300 boxes. But I left because the game was just an idea. My thing is me thinking the way I think. Why have boxes when you don't have a game? The box is supposed to always come later. You never get boxes first. You create the game model, the boxers see it and say, yeah, I want to be a part of that. You get more boxes. They'd probably get boxes for free. Oh, yeah, Butterbean was a part of it. Butterbean always say every game that I got Butterbean in, even with EA, he said, yo, because I talked to get Butterbean in the game. I talked to Butterbean. And Butterbean said, tell them to give me a game. You know, like at that time was the PlayStation 3. He said, give me a PlayStation 3, a controller, and I'm good. But EA, they still paid them. They didn't give them that much, but they gave them a game. They gave them the game, and they gave them two controllers, and they paid them. And boxes was still coming on. I had a lot of female boxes. I had Teofimo would have been in the game, and his manager at the time, he was like, yo, we got a lot of female boxers too. He said, you know, we should get out, you know, if y'all get Teo, y'all get a deal, you could get like my whole stable. And I said, that's a bet. That's great. But the guy, I keep forgetting his name. It makes me mad. I keep forgetting that. But he was like, no, we just want Teofimo. And that's the mistake that EA was making. Because there were boxers that wanted to be in Fight Night Champion and Fight Night Round 4 and Fight Night Round 3 that EA did not know anything about their boxers and they didn't put them in. There's a lot of high-level boxers that they didn't put in the game because they did not know boxing. It was crazy. I was like, Dad. Oh, yeah. The name of the company that was going to sponsor me to make a boxing game is Wicked Witch. And I think they changed their name because Round for Round tarnished their image. I think they changed it to Wicked Shop or something like Workshop or something like that. But it used to be Wicked Witch. They were right, and there was no other games at the time. Yeah, they would have came off. They'd have came off at the time. And Eddie Hearns, they were begging. I wasn't even trying to reach out to Eddie Hearns. I know who I talked to. I talked to Joe Cortez. He was in the game. Who else I was talking to? A lot of referees too. And Harvey Duck, that's one of my friends. I was trying to get him in Undisputed. Harvey Duck is one of my friends because he's from Newark and he used to box in a different gym. Harvey Duck was a good amateur. A lot of people don't know that Harvey Duck was a real good amateur. Tall, lean. I think what he fought 165. Yeah, I think he started out 147, then he ended up being 165. But Harvey Duck was pretty good. He fought out of the gym out here in Jersey. I think it was Red Brick or Fifth Precinct. I forget. Yeah, but it's a lot that these companies. Let me see. Yeah, round 4. Yeah, round for round was getting a lot of buzz for a while. Man, that's too bad it didn't come through. Would have been great. It would have. It was. I mean, it could have been great. It could have been great. And my thing is, especially now, and I be seeing like that the mistakes that round for round made. It's like they could have it could have been a great game. Could have been a great game. Even Zab Judah, that made what round for round did, and this what I knew because I was sending boxes to Steel City, that they made it hard for companies to get boxes because they thought every new company was gonna be like round for round, have them. And I heard round for round had boxers locked into contracts even to the day. They had them locked into contracts. And there's no game, but you got boxers locked into a contract. That's crazy. That's really crazy. You got boxers locked in a contract, no game, but they're locked in the contract. So that right there was weird. Yeah, so I don't know. It just puzzles me that a lot of these companies, they really missing out. A lot of them, they want to make boxing games. Literally, I hear people tell me all the time they want to make a boxing game, but they're scared. They think there's really they won't recover their money. They should have had the game first. You're right. Yup. They should have. They had they could have been a billionaire at this time. Right now, they could have been a billionaire. What's his name? Is it Allen? I forget, but yeah, he could have been a billionaire right now. And my thing, I always tell companies, I say, y'all ain't gotta, yeah, they should have been, yeah. And my thing is, I never asked, I used to always tell companies, I say, you ain't gotta give me nothing but a t-shirt. I never asked for anything. It's like I don't need any money. I say I love this. I like doing this. I want to help to get the best game that I could get possible. But then it was always the argument with us is they wanted the game to be accessible for everyone. They wanted to be a hybrid. I don't know what's up with companies nowadays. Why can't you make options? They wanted the game to be a hybrid. And no company ever made a hybrid accessible for everyone. It always leans one way, which is always arcade. It's not going to be a hybrid. People are like, we got to make the game accessible to everybody. We're going to make a hybrid mode. What happened to a hardcore mode, hybrid mode, and an arcade mode or casual mode? But they don't do that. They want one game that fits all. One mode that fits all. And that thing is the testing. That's the excuse. It's going to take too long to test. Yeah, but in the end, you're going to get more people to buy your game. You get more people to buy your game because it's accessible to the hardcore fans, the in-between, and the casual fans. It's accessibility. That's accessibility to me. Everybody can access the game that they want to play. not forcing one mode on everybody. It never works. It never worked with EA. Yes, EA try to make a hybrid game. It leans towards arcade. Everything was sensationalized. Certain punches, certain hits, everything was arcade like. It just was a complete game. Shoot, I wish I would get the opportunity to make a boxing game. You know, a lot of companies, when I be putting my ideas on LinkedIn, a lot of companies always like my ideas. And I'm like, yo, y'all keep liking my ideas, but why aren't y'all saying anything? You know, just say something. But like one of the guys said in the shadows, in my DMs, he said, if we say something, that's going to make it seem like we're thinking about doing something. If we just watch from the shadows and not say anything, you don't know what we're thinking. Because if you see us, if you be like, hey, Poe, that's a great idea. I'm thinking about making a game. And like I'm doing now, I was talking about, hey, I got guys that want to make a boxing game. But I would have been able to attach names to it. So, you know, even though I know guys that want to make a boxing games and I'm not putting their names out there, I mean, they talked about it. There's one guy, he's an actual director of movies. I forget what movies he worked on, but there's some movies he worked on. He directed them. I think he was a producer or something. And he said, hey, he contacted me. He said, hey, he said, I like what you're doing. I like your ideas. He said, I'm thinking about making a boxing video game. He said this last year or the year before last. And he said, I like your ideas. He said, when I start getting the ball rolling, I'm going to try to pull you in. I'm going to contact you and let you know. But that was 2 years ago. So I'm pretty sure at this point, he's not thinking about making a boxing game. Because I'm pretty sure he would have talked to me by now. So I don't know. It's weird. Let me see. Hey, Jay, just let me know. Just be honest. Are you gonna make the survey video or not? Are you leading me on? Claimer Uncut has a good start on his game. Yeah. See, that's just the problem, though. A lot of people. That's what my thing is. I always tell companies, even the guys on LinkedIn, I said, do not let people know you're making a boxing video game unless you need money or the game is about to come out in about at least half a year or something like that. Because once you tell people, they're gonna try to push you to push it out. They're gonna want the game. So Claimer put that out there. Now a lot of people acting like Claimer is a team of people. It's just one person, Claimer. So it's going to take a little longer than the average development team. Claimer is one person. Hopefully, at some point, he gets more people to invest in him or more people to help him. Just like Love C Shorty. I like Love C Shorty game and his ideas. But Love C Shorty, he needs to upgrade. If he upgrades, I think he would get more people to buy his game, and it'll be a better game. Yeah, Love C Shorty, he has a great idea. Is that the way his game shows boxing. I love what Leafy was working on, but Leafy strayed from that, and he said, I'm gonna work on Leafy making a kickboxing game. So, you know, shout out to Leafy for that. And who else making a game? Oh, you got Teller the Tape. The guys making Teller Tape, but Teller the Tape look like it's gonna be an arcade fighter, dressed up as a boxing game. Then you got the what's the name of that game? I forget the name, but it's the guys. I think they're Mexican American or something. They're making a boxing game, but they went silent. I don't know if that silence a good thing or is they stopped working on it because they had some great ideas that they're working on. Dad, what's the name of it? There's always good. There's always good looking stars. Then they seem to fall off. Yeah, yup. It's a lot of them. Like it's a lot of games that I have personally saw. Some that the public saw and some that they didn't see. That started off great and then it just fizzled out. I seen a couple of, and this is the thing that gets me. That's why I like how people trust me with data and stuff. You know, I could talk about this because I'm not showing it to the public. I remember I got a guy to make a model of who was it? Gervonta Davis. I said because that's when I was helping round for round. I said, could you make a model of Gervonta Davis? Because we're trying to see what do people bring to the table. Man, that Gervonta Davis looked incredible. Then he gave us another person. That's why I know I would be great to be a director on a team because I was like, that don't look like Gervonta Davis. I said a lot of people would say, hey, that look like enough to put in the game. But me, I was like, nah. And he went back and changed it and it looked just spot on. But a lot of people, they just, as an artist, me being an artist, I could see something don't look right, doesn't look like the person. And people don't look that deep. It looked close enough to them. Like when I see people make these creative boxers, a lot of them be like, yo, that look good. That look like Mayweather. That look like Mike Tyson. Nah, it don't look like Mike Tyson to me. Nah, that don't look like Floyd Mayweather to me. Because there's always going to be something that stick out that doesn't look like him. To me, visually, it doesn't look, I'm noticing certain things. Just like with Undisputed. People don't notice that if you look at Muhammad Ali in the game and you look at Muhammad Ali in real life, he doesn't move like Muhammad Ali. Once I found out who did the motion caption for Muhammad Ali, that's who Muhammad Ali moved like. He moves like Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards ain't got the rhythm that Ali got. So his movement's not going to be like Ali. But they have the technology that they can get Ali spot on. But they don't use it. But they will tell people that don't know, we can't get certain boxers spot on. Yes, you can, 100%. The technology is this. And I know all these technologies. Anything you see in real life can be put in a boxing game. We live in the era of technology. You say, I can make some spot on calves. Yeah, I gotta check your calves out. I'm critical, man. I'm critical, man. I gotta check out your calves. I'm gonna be like, I went to school. I went to the same school that Michael B. Jordan went to. I went there. Michael B. Jordan went to this school called Arts High. It was sort of like this. I don't know if y'all know this show that used to come on called Fame. It got dancers in there. You could teach you how to dance. Musicians in there. You got artists, painters, actors, all that in there. And I was trying to be greedy. I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to be an actor. But I was scared to be an actor. So I focused on my art. Because I wanted to be, because when I was sitting there, I was watching, because they let us watch some of the shows and stuff, like when they like rehearse for stuff, because they was teaching them how to be actors. And I was looking, I was like, yo, he kissing beautiful women. I say, I want to kiss some of them beautiful women. And I was like, Dad, go on. I said, let me sign up to be a actor too. I said, Dad. Oh, we had the guy, what's his name? Jermaine something. He played in Juice, the fat kid. He's from Artside. All right, 100%. All right, I'll check him out. Yeah, the fat guy, his name Jermaine, I forget his last name, but he's from Artside. There's a couple of actors out there from Artside, but I was there. You got Queen Latifah used to come there a lot. There's a couple of rappers that used to that came out of Artside. But I'm like, yo, I went to a prestigious art school. So yeah, I think I'm about to end this show because I don't want to do no 5 hours or 7 hours like I did the other day when Beast was on here. You know I cut my questions short today, but you know, I'm gonna end the show. And I salute to everybody that came out. Ghost Gorilla. Ghostface Gorilla. I don't know why I said Ghost Gorilla. Ghostface Gorilla. Dave Love Cats. Let me see who else. JMMA came through. PLO 617 came through. Narco Reacts came through. Lamont Davis came through. Who else came? AJ Pax. Leafy, where are you? Leafy ain't come through. Random Thoughts 4569 came through. We Don D 205. Could y'all check out Don D 205? He's on Twitch. He's on Twitter X. He's on Instagram. Check him out. He do videos. He do sports commentary, and he does whatever. He do sports comedy. He do art. He does different things, and he do the fight night. He does the boxing match or fight night. He does a great job with the fight night, even though I don't like it. Thanks, appreciate you, Dave Love Cats. I appreciate you coming through. Somebody new that popped up. Yeah, I had a good showing tonight. You know, let me see how many people popped up. I need one more person to view. I hate that number. One more person to view. But yeah, that's I'm gonna end the show. Shout out to JMMA again. Do that video, JMMA. Cause I think you said that to shut me up. And shout out to Praxis and all of y'all. Shout out. You know, peace. I'll see y'all tomorrow. The next show tomorrow is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To the next show. Peace.